Alright, this video kind of came about by a little bit of a Facebook exchange, and of course, in my general fashion, I probably forgot to respond to one of these guys. So these are two very similar knives from two different manufacturers from the same designer here. And the original poster on the Facebook group was looking for one of these guys. This is the SixLeaf SL-16. This is a titanium button lock here in M390. And the M390 on this, not too bad. Of course, there's probably there's certainly harder examples out there, but this isn't one of those ridiculously soft, like 55 to 56 HRC kind of things, just so they can produce a little bit more. This actually does perform decently well. And kind of my thought process was I like this guy a heck of a lot more. This is also from Rattlesnake. This is also a titanium button lock, also by the same designer, also an M390. The M390 on this guy, at least on my particular example here, seems to be a bit better. Doesn't really have quite as much... or it seems to be a little bit harder overall than this guy here. And kind of my thought process here is a lot of the blade is quite a bit the same. I just end up liking the design on this one a little bit more. It is a little bit larger, as we can see. It doesn't look all that much different in the handles here, but this one does accommodate a full 4-finger grip for me. Whereas the SixLeaf here only accommodates 3, and then I have the other one kind of sitting there on the edge. Which, to me, this one just feels a little bit more secure in my hands because of that. The blade is a little bit longer, going on the Mocenary here, and it does curve up a little bit more, but by and large, they both kind of get the same exact job done. Same thumb studs on them. Both of them kind of have a fuller that you can attempt to flick them open with, and it's not all that bad due to the detent strength on the buttons here. However, the swedge, dip, milling, whatever the hell you want to call this, this guy here on the SixLeaf one is fairly gradual, so it doesn't grab your finger quite as much as, say, this guy does. So there's that. The other thing is the button on the SixLeaf here actually sticks out quite a bit farther than it does here, because it doesn't really have any kind of ramping up to it, as we can kind of see here. And that leaves the button quite high, especially when it's closed, which is not exactly something that I'm looking for in a button lock. It does look like there's a little bit of a recess there, but the blade disengages long before you actually get to that recess. So in that particular case, not exactly my favorite there. Like I kind of said in the Facebook kind of response there, was that I kind of feel like this was the version 2.0 of this particular knife here, which is why it's the one that I would suggest for the most part. Wow, we have a Lucy down here. That's interesting. Alrighty, so the reason why I didn't do this video a long time ago was this guy was really, really hard to find. I got on top of picking up one of the first rounds of it, and then it was not really easy to find for a very, very long time, whereas this guy was. So, I just kind of let it be. However, now this guy is much more available, again, as they've done another and longer or more numerous run of it. So that's pretty good. And makes me a little bit more comfortable to suggest this, because you can actually find the darn thing. Pocket clips are essentially identical. They have that same design. The titanium between the two of them do have just a little bit of a different tone. It's probably not going to come off on camera, but I can see that a little bit. And that just has to do with the different grit of sand or beads that they ended up using for doing a bead blast on there. So there we go. Also, we do have a bit of a different kind of spring landing area between the two of them. So yeah, it's a little bit different. Also, this guy has a visible lanyard hole, whereas this one has a hidden little lanyard pin on the back there, as well as a different back spacer that kind of has alternated steps rather than kind of the large guy there. So there we go. There was kind of my thoughts there. What if we go ahead and do a couple of measurements here? I think weight and some lengths probably seem to be the most important, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, the SL-16, we got 4.3 or so ounces, or 122 grams. This guy, just a little bit less. So there we go. And that probably has to do with, yeah, both of them do have weight relieving out of the titanium there, but this one seems to be a bit more efficient with it overall. So there's the weights. Yeah, I want to do some measurements here for the rest of it. Something that I rarely do is actually measure like the handle length here, but there we are with the Mocenary. We got 4.16 inches or 105.7 millimeters, and yeah, the SixLeaf is going to be just a little bit. A little bit shorter at 3.6 or 3.97, or that's going to be 100.8 millimeters there. And then, of course, we got the blade lengths here. Yeah, we got basically 3 inches for the most part. You know, I did have to work around that thumb stud just a little bit here. Compared to about 2.8 on the SixLeaf guy here. So if you are someone who absolutely needs a knife under 3 inches, then this one definitively is, and this one is in that gray area of it might be or it might not be. So there you go. But in all, also there is a bit more contouring and everything going on with the Mocenary knife here than the SixLeaf. Both of them do have some contouring going on, but of course the Mocenary just does have a little bit more. So yeah, they are, you know, by those kind of measurements, sure, I'll pull out something here. They're probably fairly close to, yep, Benchmade bug out territory. Right on there. Obviously the handles are going to be thicker, so a little bit more comfortable, especially with that contouring. But yeah, that's those are kind of my thoughts on kind of why I prefer this guy just a little bit more than this one here. That and the build quality in general seems to be just a little bit better on the Mocenary. Like I said, this is just between the two singular models that I end up having from either of them, but it just does seem like Mocenary's high-end knives, the titanium frame locks and stuff like that, are done just a little bit better than SixLeaf's high-end knives. However, conversely, Mocenary's budget knives, I find, at least the steel liners, are actually a little kind of funky and off compared to something like SixLeaf's budget knives, which seem to go back together much, much better. Kind of interesting, but yeah, it is what it is. Mocenary, at least for the higher end, they definitely have my vote for most of them, and they do also have another high-end knife, titanium integral as well. That's slated to come out soon that I'm pretty interested in. But yeah, there we go. There's kind of the differences between these two guys. It doesn't really seem all that much different between them if you're just kind of looking maybe at a single picture or something like that. But there are some pretty significant differences, especially when it comes to fitting your hands and it being a 3-finger or a full 4-finger grip knife. But alrighty, there we go. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. Yo. And subscribe.